So I have 10 questions that I want to go over first. So the first question is how to properly balance workers in my build. Why are units armor and damage types so important? Why should I upgrade the security system? And then which order should I upgrade the security system? When should I send aura units? What is some exploit build I should try? How do I properly place my units on the board? Should I stack slow units in 3x? Make proper use of the ratio per wave. This is mainly for dynamic when you're doing chaos and random refined. Number 9 is how do I survive wave 14 when they send a shitload of motherships? That's kind of a given. You probably won't win. And number 10, I am wave leader. Should I overbuild just a bit or should I go full sail ahead? So the first one we're going to go over is how to properly balance workers in my build. So this is like a very, very standard way on how I build my workers. So, wave 1, depending on what I'm going to get. If I'm going to get Sylphie and I get a producer, that's going to tell me that I can eco a little bit more, but like I have here. So, depending on starting unit, if you get a producer or another, you could probably go a worker right on wave 1. Sometimes I like to save because you just never know when people are going to try hard and just send a shitload of Goliaths and Medics and Titans. So I always like to be a little bit overbuilt on wave 2. So then on wave 2, I'll make my worker. Wave 3, I make my worker speed 1. Wave 4, worker. Wave 5, I'm making 2 workers. Wave 6, I'm doing speed 2. While I'm doing all of this, I'm actually trying to build and make sure that I have everything in place and making sure I don't leak. If I have a decent enough build, this is the order I'm going to follow. So wave 7, 2 workers. Wave 8, 2 workers. Wave 9 is going to be one of those waves where it's like, well, wave 10 is going to be the boss. Am I ready? Do I think I can kill it? Should I overbuild here? Because even if you don't make workers on wave 9, you should be 10-2. So you should be fine. So if you think you're more than comfortable, then go ahead and make some workers on wave 9. On wave 10, if you clear 2 bosses, you should be able to get 180 for speed 3. Wave 11, you want to make 3-4 workers. Wave 12, I feel like you get less minerals on this wave for the Hydras. So sometimes I make like 3 workers, sometimes I get the shit kicked out of me. So that's when I go upgrade the security system. Then wave 13, 4 workers. Wave 14, speed 4. And then after that, I'm just going full sail ahead, 5 workers. I'm just going maxing, trying to max before wave 17. You should always try to max before wave 17. That is just something that if you want to go late game, you need to have a shit ton of minerals. And it's going to be super helpful later on just to have a really good income. So that's that. So the second thing that I think everyone should really know about is unit armor and damage types. So there's 5 different armor types units in the game. There's armored, which is one of the best because it takes 80% damage versus piercing, magic, and siege. But it will take 120% damage taken versus normal damage. I'm sorry about that. Let me change that. So like another Lord, for instance, I make one, or if I make a Daemon, which is also an armored unit, I know that they're gonna suck on wave 9 because wave 9 is a massive normal wave, so I have to be careful if I have Daemons or if I have Nethers. So this is something that I think you should keep in mind. This is very, very important. I think this can make or break your game, and this is it's all gonna. I'm gonna puzzle the pieces together to make sure you guys really know what I'm trying to say, what I'm talking about. The next one is mechanical, so like a cyborg is a mechanical normal damage unit. So it takes 75% damage versus normal piercing and magic, and it'll take 125% damage versus siege damage. So cyborg, you have a siege tank, even the producer is mechanical. So mechanical is something that you really want to go for because that's like it's going to take the least damage. Siege damage waves aren't even that much anyways. Wave 6. Wave 17 are siege damage, so having cyborgs is really crucial. Light armor is something like protons and adepts, so you put them in the back, so they take 130% damage versus piercing. So piercing wave is like wave 1. Wave 1 is a piercing, and wave 7, so those zealots are coming at you, and if you have a shit ton of adepts, you should be careful. And adepts or light units will take 100% damage versus magic, 90% versus normal, 90% versus siege. So light units, they're not the best tanks, but some units are just light units, and that's just what it is. Then you have biological, which is going to take 100% damage taken from all weapon types. And then you have a massive, which is going to take 120% damage taken versus magic, 90% damage versus normal, piercing, and siege, which is not bad. Massive units is like the Gate Guard, the Guardian, even the Outcast is a normal tank. I don't usually like to go normal tanks unless massive tanks unless I have to. I'll just use it as a filler. So Wave 1 and 31 are unarmored units, meaning they take 100% damage from all weapon types. So did I skip anything? And then you have the 5 different damage types. You have your piercing, which is going to do 130% versus light. Sorry about these numbers, they're a little off. Then you have magic damage, which is like Wave 8, which is going to just, most things are, like massive is going to be weak against magic. So if you have massive tanks like the Gate Guard and the Guardian, they're just going to get fucking wrecked. So probably not good to build them. Chaos damage is going to do 100% damage versus all armor types, which is pretty nice. So like the Teeter, I think the Teeter is a chaos damage. It could be magic. I'm not sure. It's early here, guys. But the Preserver is chaos damage. So chaos is pretty cool. It's just, flat across the board. And you have normal, which is literally going to do 120% damage versus armor units and 90% damage versus everything else. The next thing I want to go over is upgrading the security system. So I've been playing this game for quite a while. And I'll be honest with you guys right now. I used to never upgrade the security system. I used to be like, fuck it, I don't care, let's lose. And then eventually, years, I met a bunch of people, and then, they're like, you really should upgrade the security system. And then I just started upgrading the security system, and the crazy thing was I see my win ratio go up by like 20%, because I'd play like 1-on-4s where people are just slamming me every wave, and I'm like, damn, But if it's a 1-on-4, I only have to kill one wave, and even if it gets to my security system, the other team is going to get cocky, and they're going to keep sending and sending. So I'm like, I'm getting battered over here. And this happened to me the other day. People were battering me, and finally I get my security system max, and it's wave 20. And I send a few brutes, so they all leak. They leak like 10 bosses. I leak, 2-3 bosses. I kill my boss because my security system's max, and they wind up losing. So that's how you kind of win the 1-on-4s. So even though it's a little bit, unbalanced against you if you're the one, just keep in mind that if you're the only one, you should always upgrade, because if they bomb, you're going to be fucked. There's a basic order that you really should upgrade the security system. RBG, please, it's on the top right. It's the cheapest of all of them at first. It will make everything more expensive, but you need that AoE in the beginning. It's super crucial. Try to get that by like wave 7, wave 8. I always ask people, I'm like, please help me, upgrade the security system, because this is something that, even if I have the highest eco, I shouldn't have to be doing this alone if you're all leaking like hundreds of units. RRR, the 6 red R's will give you a damage boost and a bit of a speed bonus. So you want to get this for wave 10, because, oh shit, you leaked 5 bosses. You could probably kill them with RBG and RRR. In most cases, depending on how weak you've hurt them and stuff like that. You really want BBG, Earth Shock for wave 12. It'll just be really good because the freaking Hydras are going to come at you, especially if they send Broodlords. It becomes an even harder wave, so you really need to just make sure you have this ready. If you feel like you're going to leak wave 14, get Overburn. It'll just kill all those Immortals quick. But if you don't think you're going to leak wave 14, I try to avoid RBB, because sometimes I don't even leak 14. I'm like, all right, cool. It's just a huge waste of fucking time to do that. So that's, discretion. Some people do it, some people don't. I'm always on the fence about it. RRG is a 7% lifesteal, which is also going to give you more damage. RGG and Elusive Barrier is critical for wave 20. So, as I was saying before, I leaked 3 bosses, right? Here come the bosses down the lane. And the biggest mistake I always see people doing wave 20, and they smash that overburn button. They're like shooting the fucking shit out of the bosses, and I'm like sitting there and I'm like, oh my god, please just let me take control of the security system. You never, ever, ever want to use overburn on wave 20. I cannot emphasize this enough. What you want to do is you want to get elusive barrier. So when those bosses get by, you want to click your earth shock, elusive barrier. Just keep clicking earth shock and elusive barrier. Keep those up. Aim for the weakest ones and kill them. You can kill like 5 bosses like this. I've done it. It's great. If you have to heal your security system as well, do it, but don't fucking overburn. I want to freaking find you people when you do that, and I want to tell you that you're wrong. Alright, the next one is, when should I send aura units? That's a good question. So this is really going to be based on if you know what they have. So if I'm on wave 7, right, but I know that they have a bunch of adepts, I know that they have a bunch of light units that are going to be completely obliterated by piercing units, and they have light tanks or whatever they have, you want to send on wave 7 then, because you know that that's going to be their weak wave. So you need to really pay attention. This is something that you really have to play by ear. Light units on wave 5 as well. So if you send an immortal on wave 5 versus light units, you'll probably get them to leak. So it's based on what they have. So if you see the other team leak, look at them. See what they have in the middle. So if someone leaked, you see everybody else's build. So one guy has like a dragon, and some other guy has like, I don't know, he has like lings and resonators. So that's when you want to plan out when is the resonator ling build going to leak. You should know that should be probably wave 12, because lings are just going to get smacked around on wave 12. So, but and then wave 7 as well. So wave 7 is a good wave to send. Wave 8 is a good wave to send. But you have to use your instincts here to know when you want to send. So what did I write here? I wrote some shit, blah, blah, blah. If you get, wave 1, you get Sylphie. Wave 2, you get Nature. So I got Producers, and I got a bunch of Rangers, and then I get a Spectre, and then I get Nature again, and I got Soul again, and then I'm just looking at this build, and I'm like, well, Producer is going to get the shit kicked out of him on wave 8, because all those freaking, Reapers are just going to be smacking him around. He probably won't even get all his regen up, because he's going to be taking so much damage. The Rangers aren't going to do good versus wave 8, because they're doing 80% damage versus armored units, and they are armored themselves, but they don't have that much HP. They're going to wind up leaking. It's happened so many times to me. I've leaked on wave 8. It's a good wave to send, but you have to be mindful. You have to know. You have to be smart when you send. So don't just tell everybody to send. Hey, let's send now, guys. I'll be like, no, I don't think we should send now. I think we should wait. So that's your discretion. Always work with your team. Send as a team together, because this is very important. Okay. So the next one I want to go over is, what are some exploit builds I should try? So I know Kelson has been working on 7.3. You can check out the patch notes on his Reddit page. So, he's going to be making Dragon, cost more. But for then, let's just work on what we have. I know a lot of people don't do this, and I've been playing a lot of 3X Draft lately, because I'm just kind of bored, and I like making like really fun builds. So what I like to do is, if everything is what I want is not available to me, what I'll do is I will make a Bone Warrior on 1, make it into a Skeletor, and then if I'm not Wave Leader, this would work. If I don't get a Marine, then on Wave 2, if I cleared Wave 1, I could sell that Skeletor and get about 271 minerals, and I can get a Dragon. Or I can get a laser battery, which is also 265. But that's up to you. You can get if you get Nature, you can make a Guardian, which is an ENT. They can hold wave 1. Granted, if you don't get a Marine. Ancient gets the Resonator or Defender. That could actually hold wave 1 as well, which is actually pretty cool. Sylphie used to be able to make 2 Manumissionaires, and then used to be able to clear it, and you would spend 80 minerals on wave 1, and you'd be able to clear, and it was like great. You could try to go for 3 Manumissionaires, but the 120 mineral thing is very tricky, because this is a little hack right here. If you spend 120 minerals on wave 1, send your lings. Don't worker. and you have to make sure someone leaks, or you have to make sure you get at least 2 extra kills, like 1 extra income, because you're probably going to get an average of 3 on wave 1 if you don't worker. But if someone on the other team leaks, it'll buy you more time. So that's the only real time. So like you make 2 spirits, and that's 120, but then you get an extra kill in the middle, you'll have 265 by 2. This is something to keep in mind. So Shadow, Skeletor, Beast 1. You could try 1 Zergling Savage and 2 Lings. That sometimes works. Soul doesn't really have anything that it could build that's cheap enough to actually hold wave 1. So just like you'd probably make a Netherlord on wave 1, and you should be fine. Mech doesn't get anything that's going to be able to get you 265 on 2. Ghost, you can get 2 Aquas, or you can even get 2 Wanderers, but given how good Aquas are now, you could definitely just make 2 and just absolutely, you know, abuse them. That's definitely something of an exploited build. So if you were to go like, you know, Netherlord and Aquas, yeah, that's going to be a great build. You're going to be able to go like 10 workers by like 5 waves. So I see a lot of my friends using it. I'm not a fan of Aquas because I think they suck, but they don't. They don't suck. So don't listen to me. That's just my opinion. Make them, because you'll get a fucking crazy amount of income. Because I've been playing draft as well, so it's like I'm only getting 1 tier 2 unit, so I'm not going with Aqua. Automation or Automaton, you could get 3 Terminators used to work, not anymore. That was because Kelson updated the patch for Zerglings to be stronger. So I have some other notes here. So setting Arena on wave 1 can make you leak in short of 265 on wave 2. Other exploited builds are Mudman and Oceanus, which I just said, or Nether and Oceanus. Lings and Rezo and Preserver is a great way to get a fast income and hold waves 1 through 10 rather easily. This is going to be really dependent on which range you have, because Lings, Rezo, and Preserver probably won't hold alone, so you probably need, you know, either SOVs or encoders or whatever range you want. That's totally up to you. If you want to get Rangers, you want to get Zeus, you want to get Apparitions, it doesn't really matter. Just have something that's going to be doing DPS. And, you know, don't be afraid, guys, to try new builds. That's why I've been playing Draft, because I've been seeing some really cool builds. Like, I've been seeing people do Disciples and Starries, which is, like, crazy fucking good. It's easily my favorite build. I like to spam it a lot, because I know, I'm like, hey, actually, the other day I was playing a game, and I lost. It was a 4-on-4, and it was wave 20, so I was maxed on income. But you know, I killed my 3 bosses, and everybody leaks their bosses. So I had to kill 9 bosses in the middle. But I had like 15 Starries, and I had like, you know, 5 Messiahs for energy region, and I killed all 9 of them. It was insane. I was like, holy shit, because I blinded them so they couldn't hit. That's why you really want Starries. Teeters also blind, which are great. I really like Teeters. I'm definitely a fan of them. I don't usually upgrade them, though. If I do go Teeters in draft, I'll just make the front line Heisendongers, because they do a bit of, you know, extra damage, and then you can put Teeters all behind them. For the blind, Teeters don't typically hold wave 28 if you go in draft, which sucks. Not a lot's going to hold wave 28. Alright, so here's the big one, guys. I know this is something that I really want to cover. Maybe I'll play a game in a little bit. How do I properly position my units? Okay. I hate when I see people make tanks and then put their ranged units like directly behind. It's like, please don't do that, because it's annoying. And I'm like, I always tell people, like, I'm like in the game, I'm like pinging. I'm like, guys, I'm like, don't do that. Like, I'm in the game trying to help people, and people don't listen. So. And then they leak, and then they leave, or they leak and they stay, and then they troll, and then I lose, and it's like, whatever, you know. But I'm having fun, but you're not getting any better. So what I do is, you know, you put your grid on. So, you know, you have your E. This is what I do. I put E here, so this is where my tank is going to be, right? And then you have D, F. So the tanks are going to be here. E, F, G. God, I had to remember. So my tanks are here. Then I'm going to put anything that has more than 3 range. So I'll put ranged here, right? It's going to be all the way in the corner, like the right corner of G. Then H will be more range. So like, you want to try to be smart with your range. So you want to like say, hey, I just made 3 protons in the back, but I'm going to make them like this. H, G, F, G, H. Okay, that's what comes after that. So I'll make range, range, range. So let's just say, for instance, these are all 3 range. Let's say I got elemental 1. So this is my Mudman. These are my 3 protons, right? I want to make sure that they come in a way that will not make the wave come down. The wave's coming down, and I want to make sure that they go to the left. I don't want nothing to come to the right. So I want to make sure the tank is holding everything here. The protons are coming in and zapping them. So let's say next wave I get Shadow. They're going to make a carry-on right behind there. You know what I mean? Because that's 5 range, so he's not going to be blocked. You don't want to have your range units like running around each other because you're gonna fucking leak. And then just for this exercise, let's say you get Ghost on wave 3. You make your Spectre here. You know what I mean? Then it'll turn into a 6.5 range, and then you can make all your 7 ranges and the J lane. This is a build that I like to do because it's so good early. But then by wave 20, you're going to be filling in all this space. So it's like tricky. It's like shit. Then units are going to be running on top of each other. If you get Automaton, make the support construct for the satellite so you could actually get more range. You can get 3 of them. Maybe I'll play a game later just to show you how that's done. It's just anything that has 3 range plus should definitely go in the back. Obliterators kind of pull the tank. I think they're getting a range update in the next patch, which would be great because let's say I was to put Obliterators here as opposed to Adepts, you put 3 Terminators, you upgrade them to Obliterators. I love Obliterators. They're absolutely one of my favorite units because they do great on wave 8, they do great on wave 12, and they do great on wave 14. And those are the 3 waves that most people have issues with, so take note, Obliterators are fucking life. Okay, so stacking slow units, this is something that I always see as well, and it kind of irks me, so I definitely want to go over it. Let's say you get Producer on wave 1, you get Ghost on wave 2, and I see people do this, like, I'm going to make 3 Spectres. I absolutely need 3 Spectres, you know what I'm saying? And I'm like, no, you really don't need 3 Spectres, because now you made 3 Spectres, next wave you got Ranger, next wave you got Shadow, next wave you got, Mech. You really want to have a diverse line of range there. You know what I mean? Like, so you only make 1 Spectre, only make 1 Carry-On Spitter. You know what I mean? Because you only need 1 of those slows each, and then they can stack together. Make SOVs. You can stack SOVs because they're debilitating. That's fine. You can stack Apparitions. That's fine. You can stack Zeuses. You can stack Rangers. Rangers are great. The Malays are good. Up until about wave 10, and then they just completely suck afterwards. What else am I forgetting? Blind. Okay, so I want to go over this. So there's stun units, there's blind units, and then there's slow units. So Spectres are slow. Carry-On Spitters are slow. Mudman is a slow unit. Meaning they have to hit or get hit. Then you have Tree of Life, which is great, but it's not a tank, so just mind that. We have stun units that are half-breeds, Wardens, Asimov, the Missile Array. Having stuns, guys, please get stuns, okay? I don't care what you say. Wardens are great because they do an AoE stun, and I see a lot of people trying to avoid Wardens, like, oh, well Warden doesn't kill all the units on wave 1 and 2 anymore, so it's useless. It's like, no, it's not useless. It just has a different purpose now. It's an actual tank. It might be slow damaging, but it can take a lot of damage. It's armored, which is a great meaning of a tank. And it AoE slows, AoE stuns, which is like absolutely something I absolutely love. You make a full line of fucking Wardens, you should be fine. They're definitely better than half-breeds. They're definitely better than, I wouldn't make Asimovs. And I do like Missile Arrays. So you have like 8 range and just fire like 10 missiles, and they could like stun for 0.25 seconds, which is pretty cool. I like them. They definitely help make them. Blind units are Teeters and Starry and the Soul Racial. Starries use energy to make blind. Teeters have to go into a rage. They have to read a little bit. But you want blind on wave 20. This is one of the best ways you're going to be able to beat wave 20. I see, and this is the problem. I always see people lose wave 20, and I'm like usually like one of the only people that don't leak. I'm like, because I just made like 2 Starries. I made 2 Teeters, and that's all I needed. And I had like 3 Wardens, and I won. And it's just. It's so simple. It's just you need to know why you're not winning, because those bosses on wave 20 are like literally going to destroy your fucking face. You know what I mean? You have to have a full line of Krogots. whatever you want, really. Just have a lot of DPS, have a lot of slows, blinds, stuns on 20. Just fucking brace yourself, you know. Okay, so how do I make proper use of my racial and dynamic or draft? This is something that you should be aware of, especially if you're doing dynamic, because the ratio is changing every wave. So I mean, a ratio could make or break you. Like if I was playing the other day and I had celestial racial. So like my units died, the wave ran down, but then I wound up killing them. I got really lucky. You just have to be really careful. So if you have soul and you have a bunch of units that hit slow, you're probably going to leak. So overbuild, stuff like that. So it's definitely like just be mindful of what ratio you have. Like if you have elemental ratio, that's probably mean you're fine. Just be weary and study those ratios, study those passives. Just make sure you could fucking beat that wave. Okay. So the next one I want to go over is how do I survive wave 14 Immortals? Okay, well, if you're playing a 1-on-4, you're probably not going to win because it's just, they're sending Thors, they're sending Banshees, they're sending Goliaths, Medics, Mortals, Mothership. It's like, damn, chill, The best thing I've seen on Wave 14 is get a fucking Tree of Life. I mean, a Tree of Time, the Tier 4 Nature unit, and upgrade it. And then put it, like, if you have your tank line here, so this is your tanks. I have my tanks. Oh my god, tanks. The next lane, yeah, I'm glad this is okay. I don't know what just happened, but this should be. But anyways, your tree should be behind the tanks, okay? Not in the front line because it's not a tank. I don't want my tree of time to die. Oh my god, of time, great. Don't want my tree of time to die just yet. I want to keep those immortals when they're coming down. I want to keep them slowed as long as possible, guys, so I can have my range do their work. You might have a bit of a split. They might come down, you kill them, but they're still, immortals get stuck. They're really big. So wave 14 and 15, having a Tree of Time is like, I'll tell you something. They could send a bunch of motherships. But if you have like a dragon and a Tree of Time, you should probably be okay. Like seriously, it's always like every time, like 50% of the time, I swear to God, I always get like nature on wave 13. I'm like, thank you, because I know I'm gonna leak if I don't have a Tree of Time. So that's something that I think is important. Again, stacking blinds, slows, having good tanks because they're doing normal damage. So if you have armored tanks on 14, guess what? They're going to get fucking wrecked. I like how this goes from number 9 to 11. Did I have a number 10 question? Okay, so yeah, number 10. This is a very weird outline. So number 10, guys. I'm wave leader on 2. Should I overbuild or should I risk it? So let's say I get fucking mechanical on wave 1, which is probably the worst start you could get. You go captain and whatever. You go 2 peewees, 2 infantry. You go captain and 2 infantry, or captain and infantry. You need to be mindful that you're gonna wave 2 can be tough, guys. Okay. Don't think that's like, oh man, I got this. But then you're not wave leader, but you still get a Titan. So just for me, I always like to, in my head, I'm always like, I need to be prepared for wave 2, no matter what. Unless I 100% know, like if I have a producer and I have, if I have the freaking beast passive, I'm probably like, all right. Or if I have the elemental passive, I know I'm gonna be okay. But if I have just a producer and they send a freaking Titan, I'm gonna get wrecked, and it's not gonna be fun. And another thing I want to go over is, let's say you guys, and this is what I hate, leakers, guys. Okay, if you leak, let's say, I've leaked on wave 1, leaked like 10 units on wave 1, but you know what? I don't leave. I stay, because I know that if I can come back from that leak and win, then I win. A win's a win, guys. Like I'm not gonna rage quit, like, oh fuck, I see people leaking like 3 units at a time and leaving. It's like, please, guys, you're better than that. If you're leaking like hundreds of units, like you're just leaking your entire wave, your build is completely fucked up. Don't then leave. That's something. But if you think you can catch up, keep playing, keep trying, but just don't give up. That's something that I think people, fall into as well. So now I want to go over some units that I got from Kelson. So this is an Excel sheet, so I'm going to go over every freaking unit with you guys. If you want, go get a pen and paper, write this down. If you're new, you don't really know, you get, let's say you're playing, you know, a chaos game, you're like, ah, fuck, I got auto, you know, what should I build, you know? I got tanks, you know, I don't know what to build, man. Well, fucking automaton's great, man. I mean, it's a little pricey, but yeah, I was playing draft the other day, and I made a bunch of dreadnoughts as my tanks in the front, and they absolutely killed it. But let's go over this one by one. So the first one is ancient. Sentinels are okay. I'm not the biggest fan of Sentinels. They upgrade into defenders. Defender could hold wave 1 and get you 265 on 2. Encoders upgrade into encryptors, which can give you a shield so they can take one hit and block it completely. So encryptors use energy. So if you're going with an energy build, go for it. You'll I see a lot of people using encryptors, which is cool. I think they're really great. They lag because they're obviously throwing a lot of shields everywhere, and games like, ah, what the fuck's going on? Okay, so resonators. Resonators are fucking great, guys, because you make 2 of them, you have 135 shields. Let's say you have 30 units around those resonators. That means you're doing 30 times 135. So you're getting, every unit is getting 135 shield. It's 135 extra HP. Super useful. That's why people like to use it for Ling Rezo build. You know, those Lings are getting 135 extra shields, and they're going to be hard to die. And Lings give slow, so it's just really, really good. Preservers could resurrect dead units into Sentinels. So that's why I don't like making Sentinels, because it's like, oh, well, my Sentinel died. My Preserver's not going to revive the Sentinel. So Preservers are cool. You could upgrade them to Archives. I see people doing that. They give energy, no, they give shield regen. I see a lot of people using it. I don't use it, but that doesn't mean that you shouldn't. You know, to each his own. The tier 5 for Ancient is Warden. Warden is great because it has an AoE stun, but I think it's like every 2-3 hits it could stun. So, but then they upgrade to Elite Wardens, which are even greater. They have 1792 shields and 640 HP. So that means that they have like over 2,000 HP. So they're really, really good, guys. The Matriarchs can buff the Sentinels and Defenders, guys. It was just a build for Select. If you're doing Select, this isn't a tutorial on Select, so fuck you. Matriarchs are cool because they upgrade to Elders. Elders are really good. You know, they have about 2,000 HP, but they could buff units here. So they have the Final Song of Elders. They bestow a lucky ally, but not themselves, to 16% attack speed and 16% damage. That just kind of looks weird right there, but they don't buff themselves, but they can buff each other. So if you have like 3 Elders, they'll probably buff each other, which is cool. I like Elders. They're good. They hit strong. There are better tier 6s out there, but Elders great. I have, you know, little complaints as you know, just besides that they don't do any slows, stuns, or blinds, so that's kind of their weakness. Okay, so let's move on to auto. The Terminator. I am the Terminator. So you would notice that they're armored piercing. Piercing is great because piercing is good on wave 3, wave 5, wave 7, wave 10. I mean, this is like a last second thing. If you like need piercing units, just fucking spam them. They upgrade into Obliterators, which I love. Obliterators, as I was saying before, they attack slow, but they give slow, and they do armor, they do normal damage, so they are great on, you know, versus armored units. So they're great on wave 8, wave 12, wave 14. It's, you know, like how people are saying, oh, I can't beat motherships on wave 14 when they send. It's like, make Obliterators, make a Tree of Time. You know, you should have no problem if you have that. They're going to be doing a shit ton of damage. I've so many times I've done this and I've won. They're not really good the first 10 waves, until wave 8 at least. So I wouldn't go with them just yet. If you really need some AoE early, go with Pulverizer. They do siege damage, which is cool. They'll you know, just start wrecking shit. It's like, I think it's like 50% chance or 33% chance that they'll do AoE, which is pretty cool, but they absolutely suck on boss. So next unit is Salvager. Salvager upgrades into the Android or the Brawler. So you want to forget about the Brawler. The Brawler sucks. You want to get the Android. That's going to cost you about a total of 200 minerals. They're mechanical normal damage. So if you notice that they have 800 HP, but when they die, they revive and they have 600 HP. So meaning that they have 1400 HP. These are great tanks. If you just want to have something in the front, you don't have a bunch of rangers in the back just melting your unit, the enemy units away. It's actually not a bad thing to do. So we're going to go with it's called the support construct that has all three of these. So the astromech is the little, we call them hats. So you put the hat on the dragon, and you make them stronger. You can make any unit really stronger. Just they cost one supply. So what they'll do, just to let you guys know what they 100% do. So they give damage bonus, attack speed bonus, and movement speed bonus, and they give like 10 plus 10 armor, which is really cool. Sorry, I had some bacon this morning, so I'm just burping like a bitch. Then you have the Well-Tech Relay, which is a healing unit, but is not really that good of a healing unit, so don't make it. Then you have the satellites here. And, you can make 3 of them. They give +1 range each, so you can make 3 of them for a total +3 range, which is absolutely great because now your dragons have 6 range, your teeters have 7 range. Units aren't getting stuck within each other. It's super helpful to get satellites, past 20 when you have a shit ton of units. They cost 2 supply, but, what's the point of having a ton of units if they're all getting stuck with each other? So this is where satellites come in. They help big time. Then you have the Asimov, which is a 265 tank. They don't have a lot of HP. They do stun. I don't really like them. They're just a little pricey. But if you want to make them, they're cool. Up to you. I seen a guy the other day make like 20 Centurions. And it was really funny because he made 20 of them. So every time you make them, the HP stacks. If you have 2 of them, it's 2750 HP, right? So then you have 4 of them, that's 54. He had like 25,000 HP on these Centurions. And I was like, all right, that's kind of cool. But they're massive, right? No, wait, Centurion, yeah, they're massive. So not the best tanks, but if you have 30 of them, they're gonna take 30,000 damage. It's insane. It was a fun thing that I seen someone do, and I was like, I applauded him. I was like, that's cool, dude. He did his thing. Prototypes are the little Raven units. Don't make this. They need to be revamped. So because every time they damage, they could damage themselves, which is kind of like nobody makes them. Gravlance is a cool unit. They used to do a lot of piercing until they got a huge nerf. Not really useful anymore. You can make them, but they turn slow. They don't really do a lot of piercing anymore. They don't do a lot of damage anymore. So people used to fucking make like a full line of these, and it used to be like insane. Nobody really does it anymore. The next one is Laser Battery, which is the battle cruiser, which is 265. You could get one of these on wave 2. You can put a hat on it for extra damage. So they shoot 5 different things at once, which is great. It's good for the waves, but it's absolutely terrible on wave 10 when you actually need to focus damage. They're not going to be that good. Batteries, people are like, oh my god, battery's so good. I'm like, yeah, it's okay. It's not a fucking dragon. All right, so get over it. The next one is Missile Array, which is the shoots 10 missiles and has a 0.25 stun chance. It's gonna stun you if it hits you. You know what I mean? They cost a lot. They cost like 425 or something like that. They're great. I like making them later on in the game just because I like seeing the missiles fly. It's pretty cool. Dreadnought, yeah, Dreadnought. Dreadnought's cool. Like I said, I made Dreadnoughts the other day, and because I was doing draft, and there was no good tanks, and I was like, Dreadnought's a good tank later on. It's just a little pricey. So by wave 11 or wave 12, I made my first Dreadnought, and I held. And then by wave 14, we won because I had wave 15, we won because I had a bunch of Dreadnoughts that I upgraded to the Executioners. Executioners have 3,400 HP. They hit. They're mechanical tanks. They do normal damage. They hit strong, and the coolest thing about Executioner is what I tell people is try to make one on wave 20, because what will happen is they have this passive over here. Let's see if it says it. The Battle Dominion. So it forces the target to attack from melee range. So wave 20 is a range wave. So every 4 waves, guys, is a range wave. So 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 28, all ranged waves. So these, if you make an Executioner, it's going to Sometimes it'll pull them all down. It'll help on boss. I'm telling you. The Upholder is cool too. It absorbs damage. Is not a tank. Should be behind a tank. You know, uses a shield generator that will protect against incoming damage. Damage is absorbed. 5 damage per 1 energy. Big fucking deal. And then you have the Annihilator, which is the range. So it's 7.5 range, I believe, or 7 range. They do a lot of damage. They're cool. They're pricey. They cost a lot of supply. So I don't really usually go. I opt for Dreadnoughts. It's just very situational. I'm like, shit, I'm on wave 28 and just got auto and I have 7,000 minerals. I'm just gonna spam a bunch of fucking Dreadnoughts. All right. I think that is it for Automaton. So now we're gonna go with Beast. Beast has the Zergling Warrior. You make a full line of them with Resonators. They're going to be great. They do slow. They have 55 HP. They upgrade to the Zergling Savage, which is cool. It's mainly only good on wave 1 to try to get a dragon on wave 2. The Basher does some type of stun as well. Sorry I didn't mention that before. Just realizing that now. They got a bit of a boost with their upgrade. They got like 900 HP now, and they do siege damage. They're cool. All right, I'll make them. When I'm like having a random refined moment, I'm like, God, this build sucks. I gotta make fucking Bashers, and that happens. It really does. Harpies are cool, guys. They are range. I just want to mention that even if they are range, they should be behind the tanks. Harpies are kind of tanky, even though they're light units. The only reason I don't make Harpies in the back is because they run in, they like lock target, and they're like, oh my god, and you just see them like fly in, and they're like trying to like get to their target, and it gets really sad. The Medusa is great. So Harpy and Medusa have slow, which is great on bosses. I try to keep one if I get one. If I don't, it's like whatever. Medusa doesn't cost it doesn't cost additional supply. That's good to have. Then you have Roach Fighter, which is cool. It upgrades to the Roach Champion, which will give like 3 or 4 units around it. Haste, which is cool. So if you have a bunch of Theoses, you might want to get some Roach Champions. You might not. I don't know. It's up to you. I usually don't go with Roaches unless I'm like, bored. Unless I have like slow-ass units like Theos. Then you have the Greymane, which is the Ultralisk over here, the Grizzly. Grizzly, guys, is not a tank as well. I know it's a fucking Ultralisk, okay? It's not a tank. It should be behind a tank in the middle. So when, let's say you have a line of Krogoths, and make it right behind. So here comes like wave 23. The Grizzly, the Greymane will let out the battle roar and give damage buff to everybody. But you don't want it to die. You want to keep it alive. That's what every aura unit say you have. You want to keep your fucking auras alive. And then you have the Dragon aspect, which is the your little Kerrigan. Where is she? The Spawn of Dragon, the Dragon aspect, which is easily like one of the best units in the game. The Dragon aspect and the Spawn of Dragon have AoE, which are absolutely crucial. They have a shit ton of HP. They do massive normal damage. So, they have massive defense, do normal damage. They're great, guys. But brace yourself. I always play, anytime I play draft, or if I don't like to go Dragon because I just know I'm like, this is easy, but it's a great way to learn and build and have fun. You make a bunch of Dragons, make a bunch of Krogoths. You'll make it to wave 28, no problem. Alright, I think that's it for Beast. Okay, so here we go with Shurubs. Shurubs upgrade into Seraphim, so I want to go over the Sarah real quick. So Sarah has a debuff ability similar to what SOVs do, Solar Villains, and what Fire Archers do. So each attack reduces targets by 10% damage, increases damage taken by 3%, stacks up to 4 times. They're great, they're debilitating, but they don't do a lot of DPS. They're just like kind of slow, like 1.5 seconds. I don't usually make them. I'll make like one of them, like that's it. They're decent at best because of their debilitating ability. Next unit is the Spirit that upgrades into the Daemon, which is an armored normal damage. Daemons are great because they do a little bit of an AoE spray, but they wind up sucking after like wave 7, 8. So like a good early tank. If you have no other choice, make a Daemon. It's fine. Saints guys are absolutely amazing. You definitely want to get some Saints in your build. They upgrade into Celestials. the Archangel, the Cupid, and the Fallen. So the Archangel is that big void ray that has 8 range. It just shoots. It's like pew, pew, pew. Kind of sucks. Don't make it. Celestians are the ones you really want to focus on because they will have energy. So you can use an energy build and a heal. Heal, heal, heal. So you make like 8 of them. Heal, 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 heal. And then you'll have like Krogots and you'll be like pretty much invincible. The Cupid, what does the Cupid do again? These Cupids used to be great back in the day. They used to be so broken. Infatuate. They infatuate an enemy for 3 seconds and making attacks heal 20 HP. Bosses resist and inflict only 50% damage. Cost 10 energy. So I mean that's okay. I've seen some Korean guy do it the other day. Then I totally stole his build and made it my own. So that's how we beat the troll bosses with that build. It was insane. So then you have the Fallen. I think the Fallen has like a 6% chance to tempt units. So like, like if a boss comes down and hits the Fallen, it has a 6% chance of, it'll just dwindle its life down. I don't usually I would make Fallens if I'm like feeling fucking frisky. Like honestly, I don't really feel frisky a lot. Okay, Templar and the Vanguard. That's like the Colossus. They kind of suck. I wouldn't make them, but they're getting an upgrade, I think, in the next patch. And then you have, what is this? The Prophet. The Prophet has like a dodge. I think it's like a 40% dodge chance. Let's clarify that. Has a 50% evasion and 40% chance to deal double damage. He's like great on boss, guys. I swear to God. You make a couple Prophets and you're just like, oh my God, here comes the boss. And it's like, the boss is like, hit, and the Prophet's like, miss. It's great. I like it. They upgrade to Rs. Every time an R hits, they get 5 damage. Every time they kill somebody, they get like 20 damage. So they get like a shit ton of damage. They're pretty cool. Deities are the big fucking statue things that turn into Theos. Theos, every 4 seconds, will pop out as Saint. Saints don't heal, guys. Well, the Theos Saints don't heal. Keep in mind. So, but Theos are great. You make a whole line in the front. You know what I mean? You have Theos and Saints. So then the Theos are taking damage, the Saints are healing them, and then you have a Disciple regenerating the Saints. And like literally, try that because you're gonna be like, holy shit, this is a fucking build. Elemental gets the. I didn't go over passives. I'll go over passives after this. I apologize. So you got Protons. Protons are cool because they upgrade to Adepts, and then Adepts, when they get up to 10 energy, they just do the zap, and they zap 400% of their damage type. 400 attack speed, so they're just like zapping the shit out of everything, which are really, really good up until about like wave 20. You should start selling them. I know a lot of people would rather go with the Aqua build because the Aquas also use energy, so they'll like every like 3 energy or whatever, they'll shoot out something that does like AoE. So let's just go with the actual definition of that. Attacks made by this unit splash to one unit, another unit 80% damage, consumes 2 energy, so I think they get like 7 energy or something like that. Upgrade to Ashinis, which is like the same thing and do the same thing. You get Watchers. Watchers suck. And they upgrade to Violets, which are, they're kind of tanky Violets. They definitely are tanky. If you have nothing else to build, you could you can make some Violets. They also use energy. They also have a passive, which makes them do a little bit of extra damage. The next one is the Mudman. The Mudman is like one of the best units to have on wave 10 because the 2 or 3 of the bosses can hit it. It'll slow the enemy by like 70% for 70 seconds or 7 seconds. So Mudman. Mudman covers attacks with mud, slowing number 60% for 6 seconds. Stacks up to 3 fucking times. It's intense. Don't upgrade the Mudman to Golem because Golem doesn't get the slow. So you just want to keep your Mudman. Eventually sell them later when you don't feel like you need them. Disciple, which is great. It's a piercing unit. It's good on 10 if you need an extra piercing. They upgrade to the Messiah, which will give you the energy region, which is good for your energy region builds. Definitely try the energy region build, guys. It's cool. I think it's the it thing right now. And then you get the Seer of Darkness, which will deflect attacks. So when you want to upgrade them to the Phoenix, Phoenix will also use energy. They'll use energy to block attacks. So Energy Rage with excess energy. This unit will attack furiously at the enemy, dealing additional 40 damage for no cost. You must have 10 energy to use. So if you get like 2 Messiahs, because you can only make 2 Messiahs to stack the energy region. Phoenix are cool. Definitely try a Phoenix. Like Phoenix, Oshinis, some Saints. You know what I mean? Just try it. And you'll be like, oh, this is pretty interesting. Next one is Ghost. So the Ghost gets their tier 1 is the Spectre, which will turn into the Wraith and then turn into the Mercurial, which is a slowing unit. I love Mercurials because they do magic damage and they do like 30%. They'll slow the enemy down by 30% and attack speed by like 40%. You just need one. You don't need more than one, guys. So unless you're like in draft, then make like a few of them. That's fine. The next one is Wanderer. Wanderer can go upgrade into the Soul of Villains, which is really good. Soul of Heroes is kind of shitty. I'm not even gonna. It's just like a Zealot tank that's armor normal. The Soul of Villains, however, every time they zap something, that enemy will take 20% more damage. Let's see, does it stack? Stacks at multiple Soul of Villains. These are great guys. I usually like to prefer these over Encryptors. It depends what you get. Whatever you get, make Soul Villains, guys. You'll be like, holy shit, this just made like the biggest difference of wave 20. You know what I mean? You'll like literally get 4 Soul Villains, and you'll knock down the boss's defense by like 60, and they'll just be taking a shit ton of damage, which is really good. The Outcast, which is like that little stalker, does like AoE damage, is a massive. No, I'm sorry, it's not massive. It's a light unit and it does chaos damage, which is pretty cool. Used to be able to hold wave 1, doesn't anymore. Upgrades to the Hellraiser, which is like the same thing as AoE damage. It's a little bit more HP. They're okay, but they're not going to be good on wave 10 at all, so don't make it. There's better ghost units you should really opt for, like the Spectre, the Soul of Villains. Next one is Outcast. I never make Outcast because it's like, why make an Outcast? Because they upgrade to Forsaken One, and the biggest thing for Forsaken One is that they're fucking light units. So you have the 1700 HP, which are going to get upgraded, but they're still light units. They dodge. They suck. I never make Forsaken Ones. Outcast is good for the first 7 waves. If you like on random or fine, you need a tank. Make it. It's whatever. It sucks, but it is what it is. Apparitions are armored piercing, which are great. They upgrade to the Gravekeeper, guys, and the Gravekeeper is a debilitating unit that you should definitely get. They're definitely really, really good on 20 as well. They will have their melee damage reduced by 50% and range damage reduced by 10%. Stacks up to 50% with diminishing returns. So that means if you have 2 of them, then the next one will probably do 7% and half and onwards and onwards. The Dark Priest, which is a slowing unit, doesn't do AoE. I know it's like throwing storms out, doesn't do AoE. My favorite thing about Dark Priest, though, is that they cost 2 supply and they cost nothing to make them into the Meridians. So you can have a shit ton of them. If you're in Chaos, refine. Just make a bunch of Dark Priests and then just keep going and then, upgrade them later. You know what I mean? You'll be like, oh, that's pretty cool. So Dark Priests are great, guys. They used to be better, but then they got slightly worse. Mechanical, okay. Oh my god, how many do we have to do? We have a few more we have to go over. I definitely want to try to go over all this. I know this is trying to really make you guys, I don't want to play with people that suck anymore. So I'm just going to take a hit out of my vape. Just give me a minute. Okay, so the first one is Pee-wee for mechanical. They upgrade into the Veteran, which now has 680 HP. They're okay. They used to have 745 HP, and they used to be fucking boss. And then Callison nerfed them to 645, and thus became mechanical being really shitty. So if you get mechanical, you probably want to make a captain. So I'm sorry, let's not skip infantry. So infantry can upgrade into the Zeus, which is a piercing piercing unit with 8 range. And they use energy as well, so you could stack them with some disciples and stuff like that. But I mean, you probably wouldn't want because of all the other good tier 2s. So this is probably not the best option. But if you need to, Zeuses are great. They won't get stuck. That's why I like people really like to make them. They're good on pretty much all the waves. Zeuses will be solid. They cost a little much. So then you have Pyra, which is the Fire Bat. Fire Bat does AoE damage, so it does 50% splash damage to another nearby unit, which is pretty cool. They're really strong. So what people do is they make 2 infantry, 2 Pee-wees on wave 1. You put the 2 Pee-wees together, you split the infantry. Then you sell the 2 Pee-wees and you sell the infantry. You can get a pyro on 2. Or you can make a captain. Kelson made an update on the captain. It has lesser HP now, but it does crazy amount of attack speed. It's not a good tank. It needs an infantry behind it, so it won't win on its own. Captains are not tanks, guys. They do damage aura, so you want to keep them behind. Maybe in the back with the range. Let them get stuck, because this is the unit you want. You don't want your captain to die. And then you want to get a captain. You want to get an admiral. One of each. Get a bunch of damage bonus, which are great. Tempest guys, don't fucking make this. It sucks. They do slow damage. If I see you make it, I'm gonna laugh at you and I'm gonna troll you like I troll everybody else in this game. Cyborgs are easily one of the best tanks in the game because they can heal. So if you have one cyborg, it's going to heal other units, but it won't heal itself. So having a full row of cyborgs that you want to upgrade to Krogots later are absolutely crucial, guys. They are so good later, up until like around they'll die on 28. They'll get fucking murked. So they're probably not good on 28, but not a lot of units are good on 28. So that's that. If you don't know about the Krogots, yeah, they're mechanical. They do normal damage. They're super good. I mean, trust me, make them when you can make them, okay? Then you have the tank and upgrades to the Doomsday Machine, okay? They're actually upgrading the Doomsday Machine in the next patch to make it fucking not suck as much. There's the particle beam that does penetrate most of its enemy in a line for 20%. I think the 20% is going to 40%. Which is going to be really cool. I made him the other day. It's a fucking laser show. So here we go with Nature. Nature gets ENT that upgrades to the Guardian. The Guardian can hold wave 1, and you can try to get 265 on 2 for the laser battery or the Dragon. Rangers are great, guys. These are units that you want to stack because they do piercing damage. So piercing damage is good versus light. So make them on, they're good for wave 3, wave 5, wave 7, and wave 10. So, having a bunch of Malalians with like a Mercurial and a Carrion Splitter, you're probably going to be good. Okay, so, Malalians are great, guys. But then, eventually once you start maxing out, start selling them, they're not as useful. Sprites upgrade to the T-Bird. They are good. They're actually getting an upgrade. I mean, they're not good now, but they're getting an upgrade. I see people making them, and I'm like, oh my god, please. Don't make a Thunderbird, guys, okay? Just don't. Just don't do it to yourselves. Okay, the next one is Tree of Travel. Tree of Travel gives 30% bonus for movement speed, which upgrade to the Tree of Life. Tree of Life is like one of the most crucial units you need for wave 14 if you want to win. Okay, am I on the right one? I am totally on the wrong one. So reducing movement speed by 50% is the Tree of Time. You need it, guys. Trust me. Then you get the Half-Breed. Half-Breed has a stun. Half-Breeds are cool, man. I really like Half-Breed. I think they're an underestimated tank, but they only stun one at a time as opposed to the Warden, which will stun like a whole fucking bunch of units at once. And Half-Breeds cost more, but they cost 1 supply to make, and then their upgrade costs 2 supply. So they're good. Sometimes I'll keep them in my tank line if I have a bunch of cyborgs, just because I want the stun. Oh, Yig. Let's talk about Yig, guys. That's all I'm going to say about Yig. They upgrade to the Tree of Knowledge, which will blow up and hurt units, and Tree of Life, which will heal like every 5 seconds. I know Kelson's working on this, so Tree of Life in the next patch is going to be fucking phenomenal. I've heard people have been working on beta. They make Krogots and Tree of Life, and they will pretty much not die. So that is pretty cool. Next one is the Bone Warrior. Bone Warrior is such a good unit because it can upgrade to the Skeletor, which is good on wave 1 if you want to try to get 265. The Fire Archer, which is kind of like a debilitating unit, like the Seraphim was. Oh, what am I doing? So then you get the Flaming Arrows. Okay, what does the Flaming Arrows do? Okay, Uses energy, and the fire archer does. I think it'll make enemies take like 5% more damage. So having one fire archer is really not that bad if you're going to be stacking seraphims and, you know, apparitions. I'll sell it later on, but they're good to have later on. So dark mage can give haste. Oh my god, so good. Okay, so good. So if you get like a spawn a dragon, dragon aspect, get a hat, get a dark mage, watch that shit fucking fly. Okay. Next one is a carry-on spitter, which gives a slow. They attack very fast, but they don't do very damage. They upgrade into the unit over here, whatever the fuck, the Nightcrawler, which is great on boss. You only need one, guys. Okay, just one. Nightcrawler can hold wave 1 as well. Gate guards summon a little bit of a beast unit, a fiend as they call it. Upgrade into the Harbinger. Harbingers are not the worst units in the game. Okay, they're massive tanks. I don't really opt to make them unless I absolutely have to. Bone Overseers and Keeper Souls. So you want to make one of each. If let's say, like, this is what I always do. You know, like let's say I'm going Ling, Rezo, and then later on I'm going Krogots. So what I'll do is I'll make Bone Overseer and a Keeper Soul. So I have a full line of Krogots, and then I'll make a Keeper Soul for Life Leech. So now the Krogots are healing each other. Now they're hitting and getting life back. It's great. It's super cool. Nightmare attacks really fast. Doppelganger, like their attack speed is great. But hey, look what it is. It's a fucking light tank. Don't make light tanks. They suck. Then you have the Lord of Death with the Hades. I made a bunch of Hades the other day because I was getting, like, my team was leaking like fucking crazy. So I had like 20 fucking Hades. And Hades are great. They don't hold wave 28, but Hades are cool. They're good for energy builds. If they can get enough energy, they'll actually spawn another fucking Diablo, which is really cool. So that's it for Shadow. Soul, Essence. Okay, Essence will turn into the Rune Guard. Okay, so now let's check this out. So if you make a Netherlord and an Essence Rune Guard, the Netherlord will give a boost to the Rune Guard for 20 plus defense. Cool, right? If you need extra tank, you can't afford another Nether. That's what it is. Flux will do extra magic damage, and then you have the Starry. And the Starries will blind using 7 energy. Super crucial. This is always my pick of choice. If I get Disciple Starry, this is what's gonna happen. It's one of the most exploited builds. Definitely do it. Nether Master, I don't fucking make Nether Masters ever, and I skipped the Craggy, so hold on. Yeah, they do Soul type Essence. I guess they'll probably get 20 plus defense as well. I don't make Nether Masters because they just aren't really that good. The Nether Lords is much better. The Craggy is okay. They turn into Lord Kaiser. Lord Kaiser is just a really cool looking skin. Costs 270 altogether, which is a little pricey. But they throw out a Feast, which is pretty cool. And they're massive tanks, so they're not that bad. If you need to make a Craggy, I wouldn't, it's not the worst. So that's how I feel about Lord Kaiser. I know people are like, oh, I hate Lord Kaiser, man. He fucking skipped me of $20. All right, whatever, bro. The Shadow Fist sucks. The Scorn Hand sucks. I'm not even gonna go over that. But the Teeter, as I said before, Teeters will go into this little fit. They'll like throw their hands up in the air and they'll throw a bunch of fucking balls that'll blind, which are great. Don't use any energy, so you don't need it for an energy build. I don't know what the Z is. Jesus Christ. Then you have the Heisendine, which the Teeters upgrade into, which they don't do the blinds, but they'll do like extra little more damage. So you might want to make a little bit of a line. Okay, so that's Soul. Soul is kind of weak as opposed to most of the others. So just knowing your choices for Soul, Netherlord, Rune Guards, and Teeter. And that's the only thing you should really make. If you get Soul when you need a range. Oh, I'm sorry, you can make Flux as well. So make Fluxes. They're good. Okay, Sylphie. I don't know if I remembered all the... here we go. So, prawns. You can make 2 prawns. They turn into the Manumissiners, which I said you used to be able to make 2 to clear Wave 1. Not anymore, depending on the ratio if you're on draft or random find. You could probably get away with it. Manumissiners are okay. Cleavers suck. Obsidians are okay because they do piercing damage. Producer is great. One of the best tanks in the game because they have 600 HP. but then they'll regenerate, so they almost have like 1200 HP or 1100 HP for 155 minerals, which is like a steal. The show, don't fucking make the show. I used to think Minas were good. They're not that good, okay? They're really expensive. They're not worth it. Staccatos are good, and I'll tell you why. Because you make an Earl. Earl is great. They do magic damage. But let's say you're kind of lacking that piercing damage. You know, make the Earl with the Apprentice, and you'll get the Staccato. And that'll do piercing damage for 0.4 attack speed. I like it. It's cool. Does damage. The Nonan kind of sucks. The Hadron. What is the Hadron again? Oh, Jesus Christ, I'm drawing blank. It's 4 plus 4. I don't even know if I ever make the Hadron. Oh, they suck. Yes, I don't ever merge 2 Earls because they'll make the Hadron. The Hadron will do less damage than 2 Earls, and they'll, you know, they just suck. I don't know why this is even a thing. The Damus is sucky. The Anwar is sucky. Okay. The Fallen Angel is actually pretty good because they have about 3,300 HP. I know they say 28, but when they spawn, they actually get 3,200. They're armored tanks. If you just need something to take fucking hits, make a Fallen Angel. It's 500 minerals. It's not bad. The Conductors is the Scout. They're not that good. Okay, so the Crescendo, I see people making it used to be the Clervo, and the Clervo used to be absolutely fucking monstrous, but then they totally fucking nerfed the shit out of it, as you can see. The Composer sucks as well. One of the shittiest tier 6s in the game is right here. So let's go over the passives real quick. Sylphie has every unit you build, you get 1.5 armor, so you could do that up to 18%. So I think that's like plus 18, which you don't want to go for that. Soul, every time your units hit, you get a 15% chance to blind. My opinion, that percentage should be up a little bit more, maybe 25%, because that 50%, if you have a slow unit, it's useless. The shadow ratio, it's like every time a unit dies, it'll be brought back to life with, like, you know, 10% of its HP or 20% of the HP, which is not bad if you're doing like a Ling Rezo build. Then the Lings revive, then they get the shields on them again. It's like, oh, okay. It's kind of cheesy, but not the best. Nature gets a ratio that is every time my unit gets hit, the attacker will be slowed by 10%, and they'll stack up to 3 times, so up to 30%. Mechanical gets one of the shittiest ratios in the game. It's you get every time your range hits, and it doesn't get hit, it'll get its damage boosted up to like 50% or whatever. Don't quote me on that number. That's mechanical. Ghost gets a dodge passive, so it's 30% if there's no units near, or just a normal 15%. It's kind of a shitty ratio. Elemental, easily the best ratio. So every time a unit gets hit, it gets 1 armor, and then I think it gets it to like 10, 15, and then it lets out this burst of stun, which is great. Absolutely wonderful ratio. Always opt to get that one if you absolutely can. Celestial is great builder because it's like once your units die, and they get revived a little bit, and they get a shield covered around them for about 3 seconds. So that's good. Good for Ling Rezo as well. The beast ratio is you get 2% life leech per kill for 12 seconds. So imagine you have a dragon aspect with a hat on it. You kill the unit, so that's 64 HP per second. Dragon's going to be really hard to kill with that beast passive, which is super good. The automaton passive throws out an extra unit, and it gets stronger, more HP on how many units you have, which is pretty fucking useless. And then the ancient build, ancient passive, you get you get pretty much 8% shields per kill, depending on how much HP your unit has. Okay, so I think we covered most of the basics here. Let me go to my Starcraft. I'm on a MacBook, guy. Oh, my friend's on. You're going to tell me he's a homo. He definitely is. So let's just go to my replays. Doing a video, BB. Okay, so let's just let's watch a solo. I just want you guys to know, to get a real visual representation. Other side notes I really want to mention is, you know, always look at people's records. always look at when the other team leaks. You know, I'm constantly, guys, looking at. Even though I'm a good player, I'm always looking at other people's builds because I'm like, I'm always trying to help people. I'm always saying, hey, that's a cool build. I should try that. You know. Okay, that's pretty cool. But yeah, you'll see this game I like go absolutely ham. So this game lasted about an hour. So okay, so what do I have here? This is a draft pick. So I went Bone Warrior, SOVs, captains, Bone Warriors, cyborgs, and dragons. I think a lot of the things I wanted were crapped out. So this is a very standard build. So the Bone Overseers with the cyborgs guys is super crucial. Okay, I got the elemental racial. So now like I sell that Bone Warrior, I get my dragon. Okay, so that's what you want to do. So what I could do here is I have one worker. I can make 2 workers here, right? That's all I'm going to make. You'll see I make 2 workers here, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to keep it like that. I'm not going to worker, and I'm just pinging like a motherfucker. I don't even know if I won this game. I don't even care. So I'm holding my minerals. I have 116 minerals. You see my gas is going. So I'm trying to get 320 by wave 4. This is like a really, really simple build I'm showing you guys. So you see I killed everything, easy peasy, lemon squeezy. That dragon, that spawning dragon will not hold 4 by itself, and I know that. And I get more kills in the middle. Now I'm wave leader on, what is this, wave 4? So now I have my aspect, right? So it's like boom, 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 stun, boom, boom, stun, boom, boom, stun. Now I'm like, you know what? Now I got my aspect out, boom, I'm going full fucking eco. You know what I mean? And the other team's leaking like a bitch. This is just crazy. See, they have a Medusa, they have Rangers, so this guy left. See, this is what I want people to avoid, building like this able magician guy. Your Admiral is not a tank. You have your Colossus that is a tank behind it, you know what I mean? And this isn't probably the best, what I'm trying to show you guys is, let's say my dragon is here, but I'll build my range on the right side over here, like back. So let's say they'll come this way. You see how they lean to the left? Then I'll have like my line like this, like kind of like that, and then they'll go in and then they'll hit. So that's what I'm trying to do. So I have 11 workers. I don't even know what wave it is. It's wave 7. So I'm 12 and 2 already, which is pretty standard for a dragon. But I have a hat. No, I have a dark mage, I guess. I don't even know. So yeah, so my eco is shit. I'm talking. I'm gonna speed this game because it's going really slow. So I have 1 dragon for wave 8. Oh no, I made a cyborg over here to divert some damage. Go, this guy leaks, blah blah blah. I have more workers now, so now I make another spawn of dragon. I'm trying to get 2 dragons by 10. Which I'm asking green, is he new? I'm like trying to help people. People ignore me. I'm like, I get super annoyed. I'm like, just let me help you. Okay. Oh yeah, this is the guy that's build who I was really impressed by, actually. So he had a Nether and Saints, and he had his Messiah. So I actually leaked. Now I remember. This guy was Korean. He was really good. I was surprised. But anyways, yeah, so you can watch his build as well. So you have 2 different builds going on. He has an energy build going on, and he'll make a Theos line later on. So it's like, damn, this Celestian pretty much can't type. And he has like some Starries. He's trying to get his energy region up, and I'm doing the opposite. I'm just trying to make some cyborgs, some dragons over here. I'm talking shit to this guy over here. I think we won this game. I think I leaked on 28, but I think we won because the other team just leaked really hard. Yeah, so this guy is he's doing this build, which is cool. Definitely copy it if you want. Copy this build. Either one are really good. The Theos will probably hold better. This guy is a fucking joke. I told this guy he has a small dick. Which is true, because he's Korean. So, it's not like I'm lying. Alright, so he has more stars. He's making dark mages. He's making dark mages because he knows he's gonna get some Theoses later, and it is great. You know, great for later on. I'm holding on over here. I have 3 Kogroths. I'm already maxed, it looks like, and I think it's like wave 14. So you see, I'm making, now I have my Bone Overseer, and I have my Krogoth's line. I'm just like, boom. You know what I mean? So just, you know, try to mess with it, but the key is don't do what green does. You know, red has a good idea, I guess, but I think he, oh, Jesus Christ, look at that. I'm always asking who's AFK. So I just want to see everybody else's build. So this guy has a similar build. You see, this guy has a similar build. He has a Tree of Time. Tree of Time, like, he's smart. He made his Tree of Time in the back. I made some SOVs because I'm like, you know, SOVs, I need to make sure I can beat the boss. So, I mean, definitely copy these builds, guys. I definitely want to see you guys do good. You know, I'm tired of playing with you guys that suck. And I've been playing with some people for years and they just are not good, okay? I think that's it for this video. You can just see this guy's making Theoses now. He's going to make a Theos line. I'm making my Krogoth line. So I think that's pretty much wrap. The only thing else I really want to say is this is my first class video that I've made. So I want you guys to really understand that, you know, like, if you have questions, ask me in the game, message me. I'm more than willing to give you advice. Feedback, what do you want to know? What didn't I cover? Another thing I want to ask is if, you know, other players would like to make masterclass videos, please do, because I would watch it. I'd watch your video in a heartbeat. I want to know how you play, because that's how I learned. I copied off other players. I incorporated into my own build and shit like that. And I'm just trying to find the quick time so I could close this video. We're pretty much wrapped up. I don't know where that is, so I hate Max. I really do.